And I said I couldn't believe it's not butter either. Hey, what's going on? For whatever reason, I'm just remembering that right now. That's just like a stupid bit, but yeah. When I was younger, for whatever reason, I would just constantly think of shit like that. That's a really baseline one. It's just like whatever, just it cut off like the beginning or end of a sentence to confuse the fuck out of somebody. I would do that constantly. Just nonsensical bullshit that never made sense anyway, but like further make it like make less sense. Ah. So hey, welcome back. It's time to read some more Foundation entries. Let's get some articles going. So as always, we start with a random one. Let's look at the main page, shall we? There it is. There it is. RemixCon 2023, 45 RPM. Okay. I don't know, whatever it says over there too. Okay. Well, like I said, as always, we like to start on a random one. I'm gonna see if I can't just get like a numeral. Clef goes to the DMV. I don't know if I want to read this. Do we want to like go down the saga of Dr. Alto Clef? Pick your poison. Dr. Bright or Dr. Clef? Okay, what happens if I just click it? 183. Already been there. What the fuck is it? Man, I don't want Clef goes to the DMV and I don't want to be buried underneath anything. Let me just see if I can't, like, random to a number. But until then, here's oh my god. Yeah, I wasn't gonna read that. Here, let me slow down for you on this one. Ah, yes. If you wanted this one for your random... Oh boy. Ah. Dear gentle viewer that's pausing the video and reading all of this, I love you so much, but why? Maybe one day I'll go read and I'll go back and read all this, okay? Wait. Get a report for me, lad? Saoirse asked. Saoirse Ronan shows up. Okay. There's that way. Clef goes to DMV? This is a fucking joke? Come on. Come on. Give me like a number. I swear, if I don't get like a... I'm just gonna keep clicking to... Come on. Is it like... We doing this like number based? There we go. There we go. I got like stones can break people's bones or some shit. Here, if you wanted to see Clef goes to the DMV from the CAC hub. Anomaly, like those SCP Foundation folks that came out of the woodwork last year. Broken Masquerade Hub. Alright, there's that one. There's that one. Okay, our random one that we got was 2171. There was Clef goes to the DMV for you. This actually has an image. Okay, 2171. What the fuck is the image for this? It looks just like a fucking pile of leaves. It looks like just a typical autumn pile of leaves. Very brown and like a slight yellow, like ochre-ish. There's a path of them. It looks like we started raking them, or maybe sweeping them, away from whatever platform is here. So in the foreground of the image is like the train of leaves. Yeah. It appears like most of it's been pulled away, but we still got like some stack. It looks like somebody's trying to clean a temple. On closer inspection, this looks like Japan. This looks like temple gates? Yeah, I don't even know like what you're supposed to call it. Maybe I'm wrong. It looks like some Asian country. Pillars made out of like some either plastic or you know, stone. We just got like a stone walkway and what appears to be planters along every single pillar side. Also like a white bench over on the right hand side. So yeah, it looks like a Torii shrine gate, but it's in between every single pillar we just got more of the same. No pillars, but more pillar top. So it'd probably be like protect you from the rain decently. What appears to be like very small saplings growing up along the columns of every single one. As we look further down, so these walkways seem to partition off and then continue on. As we go further down, we see it like turns to the left, and we see another park bench, like a waiting area. It appears to end a little closer to like the last eighth of the image towards the left. And then we see like just typical like park litter fodder, you know, like a recycle bin and other chairs and seats, lots of trees, tons of foliage in the background. Really the only thing that can be ascertained on the right hand side is just what appears to be like more leaves on the ground, of course. The leaves have been like I said, it's like a train down the, maybe like the third eighth of the image. Just light poles on the right side and what appears to be behind the second viewable pillar from the right side. Maybe someone with like an orange hat? I don't know, that's weird. Yeah, it just appears to be like a temple shrine area. The name of the image is SCP-2171 LOI 2171 -03.png. Huh. The description of the image. SCP-2171 wind row during initial wrap-up operations within LOI 2171-03. Huh. Okay, 2171. Item number 2171. Object class strike-through, Euclid unstrike-through, safe. Special containment procedures. All areas affected by 2171 are to be placed under permanent video surveillance and/or botanical field supervision on a case-by-case basis. New instances of 2171 should be subject to a thorough botanical analysis and, when necessary, restored through environmental engineering operations conducted by Containment Task Force. What is this? There's some Greek symbol I've never seen. What is this? Rho. That's rho? That must be like a lowercase rho. Okay, I'm more accustomed to seeing it look like a P. Alright. New instances of 2171 should be subject to a thorough botanical analysis and, when necessary, restored through environmental engineering operations conducted by Containment Task Force Row 6 Green Gale personnel. During seasonal autumn and until the demanifestation of all 2171-1 entities, areas affected by 2171 are to remain closed to all civilian transit. Description: 2171 is a seasonal phenomenon involving the fallen leaves of all deciduous trees rooted within the confines of certain areas. Henceforth, the area. Okay, this clips off the screen, hold on. Gotta pull out my mega fuck crop, because that's what I haven't named. Footnote 1. There seems to be no specific pattern that may be used to predict the potential occurrence of new locations of interest affected by 2171. Reference 2171-maps LOI 2171- ###. They're, you know, like fucking pound. That's like one of the weird things. Like one of the environmental, one of the like generational gap things. Do you say pound or hash? Or do you say both? Are you one of the weird ones in between? Born too late, born too early, born just in time for dank Foundation memes. Leaves fallen within the area during seasonal autumn will invariably form large piles that will remain unaffected by local weather until all deciduous trees are completely defoliated. Piles of leaves affected by 2171 will slide slowly, forming windrows of varying width. These 2171 windrows will eventually manifest instances of 2171-1 at their front end. 2171 are humanoid entities composed entirely of 2171 affected leaves that appear to guide the 2171 windrows. 2171-1 entities are fragile, but capable of movement, yet apparently impervious to hostile weather conditions. 2171-1 emit repetitive vocalizations that may involve speech in various languages. See Addendum 2171-02. And have a tendency to hook dried leaves on tree branches across the perimeter of 2171 areas or string leaves between trees that delineate this perimeter. Given their behavior, 2171-1 instances are currently believed to be sapient. However, 2171-1 instances will only react when the integrity of the 2171 windrows they grow from is compromised in any way. 2171-1 will react violently against any element disrupting the 2171 windrows. Such reaction will include various vocalizations in a much lower pitch. See Addendum 2171-02, a considerable growth in size by drawing mass from the 2171 windrow to which the entity pertains and persistent attempts at enveloping the disturbing element in a thick cover of 2171 affected leaves. Once covered, the element will appear to dematerialize, being replaced by a similar volume of fallen leaves. 2171's anomalous properties will typically disappear after 2 or 3 days of continuous activity. A considerable growth in size by drawing mass from the 2171 windrow to which the entity pertains and persistent attempts at enveloping the disturbing element in a thick cover of 2171 affected leaves. It's that whole sentence, that's just like one of the shortest run-on sentences I've seen. That's like fucking run-on paragraph. I don't know. Addendum 2171-01, environmental status. 2171's anomalous properties will typically disappear after 2 or 3 days of continuous activity. Addendum 2171-01, environmental status and locations of interest affected by 2171. Special 2171 report to Area 08, RARP, and archival personnel pertinent Level 5 personnel. From Row 6 Field Commander. Reference, environmental consequences of 2171 anomalous effects. Long-term analysis of areas affected by 2171 has confirmed that the anomaly seems to cause previously unforeseen anomalous effects in the areas it affects, i.e., bullet, the local degradation of previously existing fauna and flora. This degradation most likely occurs due to the effects of 2171-1 and the indigenous populations of animal species in the LOI 2171, which is causing a loss of biodiversity in the larger affected locations. Bullet. The manifestation of anomalous flora of unknown origin. Redacted data field. Redacted data filed. See Addendum 2171-02 for a basic reference of anomalous plant life related to 2171 manifestations. See Document 2171 over Row 6-10 for a more comprehensive list including all known 2171 related species. Bullet. The progressive substitution of local soil materials. Substances atypical to the local parent material tend to appear in affected areas. Among these substances, various calcite and quartz-derived crystals are usual in most locations. These materials do not demonstrate anomalous properties of their own. Bullet. The absence of any other anomalous activities in the 2171 affected area. According to Foundation records on those LOI 2171, historically affected by local anomalous events. Such events disappeared entirely in all regions affected by 2171. with the exceptions of SCP quadruple blank and SCP quadruple blank. This remains an unexplained issue and thus a high priority for the Reality Alteration Research Program, based on Area 08, both to improve 2171's containment and the possible exploitation of this effect. 2171's containment procedures have been adjusted to address these anomalous properties. It's really just dead leaves. The aggregation of dead leaves in locations of interest that aggregate like a superstructure, sapient, like, woodland creature entity, and it might like spawn some rare fucking Foundation RPG objects. You might want to go there for your Foundation MMO. Addendum 2171-02 registered vocalizations from 2171-1 extract. Access log. Access granted and registered. A log of recurring 2171-1 instances and their vocalizations. A log of recurring 2171-1 instances and their vocalizations follows. Recordings of 2171-1 vocalizations usually register as indistinct sounds of rustling leaves. Therefore, this log is composed entirely of accounts collected by field agents. 2171-1-4. Location: LOI 2171-03, Miguel Servet Park, Huesca, Spain. No anomalous flora detected. Language: entity speaks in Fabla, regional Aragonian dialect. Message: it's so nice, so peaceful here. I'd like to stay here for a while. If you don't mind, sweetie, go to your mother. Entity description: instance manifests along a seat. Instance sits for a minute, then appears to fall forward, making the windrow advance in the process. A smaller silent instance manifests alongside the first, kneeling beside it and interacting with it. Original instance reforms. So it like perpetuates itself through like some just odd like fucking story metaphor. Like the meaning of spreading has no function because it's just gonna do it whatever way it wants. 2171-1-19. Location: 2171-9, shores of Lake Tisza, Hortobágy National Park, Hungary. Anomalous flora includes several orchid species with kinesonastic black flowers and highly allergenic needle-like stamens connected to sacs of a volatile substance that acts as a propellant. Footnote 2. Capacity for non-growth plant movements towards moving objects. Kinesonastic. Okay. Language: entity speaks in Old Hungarian. Message: oh, I love it when they dance. Entity description: instance resembles a young man aiming and shooting with bow and arrow while walking backwards, apparently attacking the windrow. Huh. Okay. 2171-1-20. Location: LOI 2171-13, Abruzzo National Park, Italy. Anomalous flora includes Cupressaceae. I have no idea. Cupressaceae. I don't know. That's the close. That's Sacia? Cupressaceae. There we go. Anomalous flora includes Cupressaceae trees that tend to root in circular groups of 3 to 20 instances. Trunks grow extremely rapidly and mesh, forming net-like patterns which result in large, structurally stable cylindrical arrangements. Structures produced this way decay when the involved trees die, leaving large superstructures. Structures produced this way decay when the involved trees die, leaving large superstructures of quickly petrified wood that measure up to 300 meters before reducing rate of growth to normal levels. These structures possess windows, balconies, gates, and stairs arranged in regular positions. Language: entity speaks in Etruscan. Message: they will pierce the skies. They will be the sole testament to our greatness under that strange sky of yours. Entity description: instance holds what appears to be a large scroll and several unidentified instruments. Interesting. Okay. It's maybe like fucking superstructures, like complex Not only like civilization buildings, but like greater than that. Like fucking mathematical natural patterns. 2171-1-55, location LOI 2171-11. An elevation close to Lake McDonald, Glacier National Park, United States. Anomalous flora includes a terrestrial nufar species with a highly reflective material covering the inside of its petals. Petals open during nights with moonlight. Language. Entity speaks in American English. Message. You are so beautiful, my sweet little chica. Sick. Source included. I hate that. SIC. I vaguely understand what that means, but it's so annoying. It means like, you know, spelling incorrect or whatever. The spelling might be incorrect, the source might be included. I don't fucking know. It's always so goddamn confusing me. Every time I look it up, I'm like, yeah, okay, I forget. You're so beautiful, my sweet little chica, like a little midnight rose, like a blood and green opal. Instance remains silent for 10 to 13 seconds. I will miss you when you're gone. Entity description. Instance appears to be laying down on its window, looking at its right side. Immediately after vocalized message, Instance moves an arm to the right side and seems to caress an unseen item. 2171-1-71. Location LOI 2171-90. Lone dead oak in the prison field of Redacted, Germany. Oak generates dried leaves every autumn. Language. Entity speaks in a language resembling Mozarabic. Message. I loved him. I loved him. Why did he go away? Why? Why did he have to go away? I don't care about the world. I only care about him. Why did he have to go to the other court? Sick. You are his friend. He will listen. Please go fetch him, Miguel. Please bring him back to me. Entity description. Instance cries for 10 to 13 minutes. Vocalizing message during the last 53 seconds of the cycle. Okay. 2171-1-105. Location. Entity detected when Agent Blank Blank accidentally interacted with its window during a night raid on the suspected residence of one Miguel Servato. Person of interest, triple blank, quadruple blank. Agent withdrew to the perimeter of the area, from where Instance delivered the following message. Area reclassified LOL. Area reclassified LOI 2171. Area reclassified LOI 2171-139. Part of the forest within the Ordesa y Monte Perdido National Park, Spain. LOI currently undergoing botanical analysis. Language. Entity speaks in what was later identified as Low Palatian. Messages. We always feel cold, now that the sun is gone. Cold under the rain, in the shade, and the snow. We will never go back home. We don't belong. We don't sing, we don't clap. Our voice is strong, our mouths shut. We drank daylight, but it was sawn. He left us crumbled and snapped like brittle bone. We drop and rot and eaten by insects, filth, and worms. Stepped on, so there may be a next fall. But heed me. You I came to warn. Let us bring to your land our master's own. Entity description. Entity repeated message from this point onward. Agent withdrew further from area once she was certain that Entity would not respond to her attempts at communication. Huh. This just makes me think of, like, in the future, the cold spread, and like the great god of all the stars has promised us power. The power was actually to go back in time and to become, put our souls into fucking plants. I don't know. Okay. 2171-1-107. Location. Entity detected during a raid on LOI-2171-139. CTF Row 6. Green Gale. That's supposed to be MTF? Deployed after a previous raid on Servato's hiding place was called off due to the presence of a number of 2171 instances. Language. Entity speaks in what was later identified as High Palatian. Message. Emotions, Miguel. Emotions are a link, a tie, a chain. We have to be strong enough to use them as such when necessary, and to discard them when they tie us down. For the example's sake, imagine you have to tear a continent apart from the others, make them slide away, sailing over the ocean of clouds. How would you pry them open and separate them? Entity remains silent for 3 seconds, with hatred. And how would you bring them together? Entity remains silent for 13 seconds, then smiles. Very good, child. Entity description. Entity wears clothing similar to what seems to be traditional of Palatian teachers. Okay. Huh. This is interesting. It's more confusing, if anything, though. Footnote 3. For further information on the Palatian schools, contact the Archive Sector of Area 08. Incunabula Analysis Group. Incunabula. I don't know. Alright, well. That one was interesting. Just feels like super up there. Alright. Let's move on to 251. No more quadruple digits for now. We got another 750 to go before 749 checks wristwatch before we have to, you know. Alright, 1000, 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1006. 251, item number 251, object class Euclid. Special containment procedures. 251 is to be kept in a locked container at all times. No one is to enter the container alone. If anyone is found to have been left alone in the container for any amount of time, they are to be treated as violently hostile and terminated with extreme prejudice. The container is to be guarded by armed personnel at all times, and guards should never allow anyone, regardless of clearance level, to move the artifact or be alone with it. Sounds of screaming, gunfire, and fires will be heard from within the container. This is normal. Description. Origin unknown. 251 consistently appears to be a small snow globe. Attached is a series of photographs taken of the same artifact over time. This indicates that the snow globe is at least partially animate. However, when viewed directly by multiple people, there is no apparent movement except by a perpetual blizzard. 251 has not been moved since its arrival at Site 19, but the snowflakes have never ceased falling. The scenes depicted in 251 are all extremely violent or morbid, occasionally depicting something fantastical, while mostly depicting more realistic brutality. All those who have been alone with 251 for any amount of time have later displayed extreme violence, xenophobia, and emotional distress. Jesus. I forgot to read the tags of that one. This one is Artifact Autonomous Cognitohazard Euclid Mind Affecting Visual. Let's see here. 2171 was Acoustic Autonomous Extra-Dimensional Humanoid Location Plant. Safe. Tree. Okay, let's move on to 252. That one was short. This one should be fun. 252, item number 252, object class, strike-through Euclid, unstrike-through, safe. Special containment procedures, strike-through. 252 is to be contained in a 150-meter cubed aquarium reinforced with high-tensile steel plating. Guards are to be specially trained in waterborne combat techniques and armed with model B-74H harpoon rifles with high-capacity electrical discharge shafts. The tank is fitted with 15 remotely activated depth charges, which are to be detonated simultaneously if a containment breach is imminent. Unstrike-through. A breeding pair is maintained under the direction of a marine biologist, Dr. Blank. Personnel should not approach the containment tank unless they have been previously prepared for the anomalous effects of the animals. The strike-through region, part.
reads like the old school methods of Foundation. So I can totally understand that if that's why. Additional specimens of 252 may exist in the wild. Strike through. Due to their destructive capabilities, capture is deemed a high priority. Given the difficulties inherent in the size of specimens, termination is authorized if a breach of secrecy is imminent. Unstrike through. Current specimens are considered sufficient, and further acquisitions are not a priority. Containment of information regarding encounters will consist of standard cover story 53, Drunken Sailor, and administration of amnestics as necessary. Description: 252 is a subspecies of Dosidicus gigas. Mature specimens are noticeably smaller than average, reaching no more than 1 meter in length and weighing a maximum of 40 kilograms. Dissection shows the absence of an ink sac and an increased density of chromatophores, approximately 20 times the normal adult average. Behavior is identical in most ways to mundane specimens, except when hunting or threatened. When a member of 252 detects prey, they exhibit aggressive behavior and move towards the target at maximum speed while rapidly cycling their chromatophores. This color shifting has a hypnotic effect on prey animals that make visual contact, causing them to cease all defensive behavior and attempts to flee until grappled. When threatened by strike through. When threatened by a predator or otherwise agitated, 252 rapidly metamorphs into an unidentified aquatic life form of extreme size with an indeterminate physiology and extremely destructive demeanor. Physical attributes in this state are in a consistent state of change. Size fluctuates between 50 and 75 meters in length, with no fewer than 50 and occasionally as many as 200 appendages of various natures. Appendages shift constantly between suckered tentacles averaging 5 meters in length, insectoid limbs terminating in barbed pincers, and humanoid arms and legs ending in sharpened talons. Details and positions of appendages on the body are also vary randomly, with the only constant being a cluster of tentacles around the head obscuring the mouth area. It is not currently known how this rapid growth is achieved. Due to the potential for a containment breach, no research on the matter is currently authorized. Unstrike through. All animal life, excluding other 252 and mundane squid species, will attempt to escape the vicinity by the most direct route possible. This fear response can cause the targets to harm themselves as they flee into hazardous conditions or ram repeatedly into container walls. Roughly 95% of subjects encountering an enraged 252 develop a phobia of cephalopods. It is not known if this is an additional anomalous effect or a normal behavioral reaction to traumatic experiences. Upon review of security footage during containment, Dr. Blank has determined that 252's metamorphosis is in fact an advanced hallucination induced by the shifting pattern of chromatophores. These hallucinations cause the victim to see 252 as a titanic sea creature with an excessively large number of tentacles. Specific details vary greatly from subject to subject, but the hallucinatory creature consistently presents as a extremely exaggerated cephalopod with tentacles clustered around the mouth area. Additional appendages with talons or pincers, and the general impression that all features are fluid and randomly shifting. Subjects removed from visual contact with 252 will remain convinced that their hallucinations were a real sea monster, and will attempt to rationalize any logical contradictions inherent in their delusion, such as a 100-meter monster swimming in a 10-meter enclosed tank. This rationalization and the lingering phobia is thought to be a form of post-hypnotic suggestion. Subjects viewing video of agitated 252 who have never been exposed directly experience a much less severe fear reaction and are able to Subjects viewing video of agitated 252 who have never been exposed directly experience a much less severe fear reaction and are able to perceive the squid despite the hallucinations. Subjects describe the illusory monster as fake-looking and nonsensical, but still find it moderately frightening. After secondhand exposure, subjects develop a partial immunity to the full effects of direct exposure. Repeated direct contact after inoculation by video further lessens the effects. Acclimatized subjects can develop a complete immunity to the fear effect and experience only the vaguest awareness of the hallucinations.
Wow, that's really cool.
Addendum 252 came to Foundation attention after numerous reports of sea monster sightings by commercial fishermen off the coast of blank. Agent Blank secured a specimen strike-through at greater than usual personal danger. Commendation for performance above and beyond the Call of Duty recommended unstrike-through. Agent Blank allowed himself to be exposed to 252's effects during first contact. Initial containment procedures were based on his reports of the specimen's size and physical capabilities, resulting in an excessive expenditure of resources. Disciplinary action recommended pending oversight review.
Oh my god, that's so mean. Why?
That last part's so mean. Disciplinary action recommended pending oversight review. A live animal aquatic cephalopod cognitohazard mind-affecting safe sensory species visual.
So it drives you mad. It's the madness squid. The madness. The madness. The squid's got... I've got squid madness. I've got squid madness.
253, item number 253, Object Class Euclid, Special Containment Procedures. At this time, 253 poses a substantial threat to humanity. 253 is to be kept under biosafety level 4 protocols at all times. All research is to be conducted at a site where incineration and irradiation protocols can be swiftly enacted, that is geographically isolated and does not possess a diverse biosphere. The sterilization protocol shall be enacted following the occurrence of any event on this list. Bullet. Communications blackout lasting longer than 48 hours. Bullet. Power disruption lasting longer than 1 minute during any active experiments involving 253. Bullet. Abnormal rise in temperature. Bullet. Abnormal rise in average temperatures beyond a change of 6 degrees Celsius (11 degrees Fahrenheit), or rise in humidity levels to 90% relative humidity. Bullet. Manifestations of unusual electromagnetic phenomena during testing of 253. At the conclusion of testing, any subjects exposed to 253 are to be disposed of, and the remains are subject to the sterilization protocol. Any researcher leaving the facility is to undergo 2 weeks of mandatory chemotherapy. Any researcher leaving the facility is to undergo 2 weeks of mandatory chemotherapy, followed by a 15-day quarantine. Description: 253 is a cluster of undifferentiated human cells, matching the physiological traits of cancer. As per cancerous cells, cultured samples of 253 will grow indefinitely if given an adequate source of nutrition. 253 is contagious, able to pass from human to human, as well as to some animal species. 253 is not an airborne contagion, but physical contact with surface neoplasms on infected subjects will spread to the plague. The first sign of 253 infection is the emergence of skin lesions, typically dime-sized. 2 centimeters in diameter, in groups of 3 to 5 at the site of infection, within 12 hours after the appearance of the lesions. MRI scans show the development of neoplasms within the brain. At this time, the neoplasms do not induce neurological symptoms. Over the next 24 to 48 hours, numerous skin lesions start to emerge and grow in size. These lesions often induce substantial swelling in surrounding tissue, which can be quite painful for the subject. Often the pain, if left untreated, leaves many subjects unable to move. Towards the end of the 48 hour period, neoplasms start to emerge in the lymphatic system and neurological symptoms start to manifest. The neurological symptoms of 253 are different for each patient, depending on which part of the brain the invasive cells have contaminated, with one exception. Each human patient heretofore exposed to 253 has felt a complete cessation of pain 47 to 49 (47 to 49) hours after infection. Other neurological symptoms include bullet, inability to focus attention, bullet, disorganized speech, bullet, memory loss, bullet, hallucinations, bullet, euphoria, bullet, megalomania, bullet, inappropriate emotional responses, bullet, sociopathy, bullet, catatonia. The neoplasms do not seem to respond to radiation, and chemotherapy with high-dose metoxantrone, metoxantrone, urinoctan. It's very rare that I have to fucking sound it out on stream. But you're just like fucking bam, 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 hitting me back to back to back with shit. Metoxantrone. Irinotecan. Nope. Irinotecan. Dicarbazine. I don't know. The neoplasms do not seem to respond to radiation, and chemotherapy with high-dose metoxantrone, irinotecan, and dicarbazine has only minimal effects. Chemotherapy was observed to kill some cells and markedly slow the growth of others, and therefore might be useful for post-exposure prophylaxis, but is ineffective in established disease. If the mass of cancerous cells within a population does not reach a biomass threshold of approximately 1,400 kilograms, (1,400 kilograms over 3,100 pounds), the cells will overwhelm the host within 5 days, resulting in death. If not transferred to a new host, the cancer cells will consume any remaining usable biomass of the host corpse before finally running out of resources and dying. However, if the mass of cancer cells within a population reaches the threshold, electromagnetic phenomena will start to manifest. The sources of these phenomena appear to be the infected hosts, but the mechanism of the EM manipulation is not understood at this time. Furthermore, it appears the EM emanations facilitate some sort of communication between the hosts. Coordinated in some fashion by the neoplasms, the hosts start to act as one entity spread through many bodies. The intelligence of this entity is initially animalistic and reactive. As the intelligence of the Gestalt entity is believed to be based on the remaining brain tissue within the hosts, it is hypothesized that the entity may be able to achieve human-like intelligence. The events from Incident I.J77.82 appear to support this hypothesis, and research suggests that some of the more unsettling things seen at Blank Hospital are manifestations of this intellect. This links to Incident IJ7782. Until suitable methods can be created to jam the EM emissions transmissions at the end-stage infection entity, and until efficacious treatment alternatives for the diseases known as cancer enters common usage, the utmost care must be taken with samples of 253. Addenda. 253A. Proposal that 253 be classified as Euclid is pending review of Incident I.J77.82 by the Overseers. 253B. 253 has been given provisional Euclid classification. Final report on Incident I.J77.82 has been released. Research into the events of Incident IJ7782 has been approved. 253C. Research involving approaching the threshold biomass in human subjects has been denied. Decision on request to test threshold biomass in cultured samples pending. 253D. Use of 500 in experiment. 253D. Use of SCP-500 in experiments with 253 has been denied. 253E. Use of SCP-427 in experiments with 253 has been approved. Early results are not encouraging. Despite success using 427 to treat other forms of cancer, in this instance, 427 appears to induce accelerated growth in both tumorous growths as well as in the patient. Subjects were terminated as they neared the critical threshold for use with 427. Request to take patients beyond the critical threshold is pending. Contagion Euclid Hive Mind SCP. Okay. I'm just laughing that I usually skip that tag because, you know, it's just easy to skip reading SCP all the time. Okay, what is this? This is way too long. I guess. Incident IJ7782. SCP involved 253. Preamble. On double blank, quadruple blank, the Foundation became aware of a significant event leading to the quarantine of an entire hospital under the pretext of an Ebola epidemic. Due to reports of the abnormal electromagnetic phenomena associated with the hospital, the report was transmitted through unofficial channels and eventually made its way to the Foundation. Concerned that other groups might get involved, the Foundation sent blank to investigate the situation. At 1800 hours, an infiltration squad of the task force entered blank hospital. Site investigation summary. Examination of the exterior of the hospital showed no abnormal signs. Telescopic examination through the windows showed human shapes of indeterminate origin moving through the halls of the hospital. Examination of the electromagnetic spectrum showed the hospital was giving off EM energy. Analysis of the signal showed a pulse of consistent energy lasting between 29.2 seconds and 45.1 seconds. This pulse was followed by a 2.3 to 11.2 second cessation of emission. The pulse's energy was primarily concentrated in three bands: 82% in the SHF radio frequency band, 11% in the ELF frequency. The pulse's energy was primarily concentrated in three bands: 82% in the SHF radio frequency band, 11% in the ELF radio frequency band, and 7% in a band centered near 1.2 terahertz. The SHF pulse initially interfered with the site investigation team's satellite link-ups, but a workaround was quickly implemented. The IR spectrum showed a radiation spike consistent with a temperature within the structure of approximately 40 degrees Celsius, parentheses 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Seismic investigation proved inconclusive. Audio logs. Log begins double blank, quadruple blank at 18:02:03. A57, power is cut to the building, right? A34, ops confirms. The building is physically disconnected from power grid. A57, why are the lights still on? G01, we're not here to speculate, just to find whatever is causing this, and to get out. A29, damn, it's so hot in here. A29, damn, it's so hot here. G01, the eggheads actually anticipated that. Our operations are to be limited to prevent fatigue, overheating, and dehydration. A12, do you guys feel that? Something is wrong with the floor. G01, what do you mean? A12, permission to investigate. G01, A57, A34, check the perimeter. Make sure we're clear. Pause. A34, clear. A57, clear. G01, permission granted. A12, there's some sort of vibration traveling through the floor. No recorded chatter for 123 seconds. A12, it's intermittent. 30 to 40 second bursts of vibration followed by a 5 to 10 second rest. G01, alright, we're heading deeper into the structure. I don't know why I keep thinking of like Dead Space. I also keep thinking of like if we put enough stem cells together in patients and give them like fucking psychic ability, they'll all become like hyper smart. This is like the inverse of that. The fucking cancer, stupid. The smart cancer. Addendum. Prior to being removed from the power grid, investigation had shown that the structure was actually pumping power in the grid. Seismic sensor external to the site did not pick up any vibration, even while a great number of human figures were seen to be moving within the structure. Log begins double blank, quadruple blank at 1812:42. 829. I've got a contact at 10 o'clock. A48. I've got a contact too. G01. No appearance of hostility. Just watch them. A21. A29. Oh god, what's wrong with their faces? G01. We'll get samples on our way out. For now, let's finish up investigation of the first floor and make our way to the second. A12 for the log. A12. Examination of contacts. Subjects appear human with some sort of growths all over them. The contacts are remaining in one spot but swaying back and forth. The portions of their eyes that I can see that have not been covered by boils show only sclera. G01. A34. A34. Rooms appear empty and disarray. Some of the beds show some sort of brown fluid covering them. This fluid can also be seen on the floors. A12. It almost seems like the lights above the contacts are brighter. Addendum. Samples were unable to be taken of brown fluid before it was required to destroy and sterilize the site of investigation. Log begins double blank, quadruple blank at 1816:42. G01. We're making our way up the stairs, about to open doors to the second floor. A34. A deep thump can be heard over the log. A34. The hallways are not lit. It's almost completely dark. Activating flashlight. Oh god. G01. What do you see? A34. They're everywhere. They're filling the hallways. They're making some sort of sound. A deep, hollow moaning can be heard over the log, increasing in intensity. From this point forward, several distortions can be heard on the log. G01. Ellipses. Treat. Ellipses. A34. They're moving close. Ellipses. G01. Fet. Ellipses. Bet. Ellipses. Fall back. A34. Ellipses. T. Distortions continue in background. They're probably like fucking opening fire. G01. Say again, A34. I couldn't hear you over the static. A34. That's true. It's EM, so could be like EM. A34. One of them touched me. G01. We'll regroup near the reception desk. A34. You're officially being removed from the mission. A34. Yes, sir. Proceeding to Unknown. Unintelligible. G01. Say again. I didn't hear you. Unknown. Unintelligible. G01. A34. A34. Respond. G01. Team. Roll call with hand sign. A12. A12 in fighting form. A29. A29 in fighting form. A48. A48 in fighting form. A57. A57 in fighting form. G01. G01 in fighting form. Pause. G01. Alright, A34 is MIA. We'll proceed to the reception desk. I was assuming it was like EM over the radio that was taking over. There was like interference. The hive mind or whatever. The gestalt. But maybe 34 just fucking blacked out quick. Log begins double blank, quadruple blank at 18:20:27. A29. The hell? G01. Damn it, A29. If you're going to respond to something, describe it for the log. A12. Reception desk is covered with the brown fluid from before. Words have been spelt out. From the progenitor. Several symbols are present as well, showing signs of intelligence. A48 is photographing. A57. To our 6. They're coming. G01. Defensive positions. Can we make it to the door? A57. Several contacts are in the way. They do not appear to be approaching us, displaying the swaying behavior. G01. We'll retreat that way. A12. What's wrong, A12? A12. Quietly. They've done something to their faces. G01. What are you talking? Oh, Jesus. A48. Get a picture of that. A48. That's one way to use a scalpel. Wait a minute. Is that a necklace made of teeth? A29, the fuck. Sounds of weapons fire. Geo1, cease fire. Perchand, cease fire. Eric. Note, Eric Perchand is A12. Distortions on log increase. A12, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Geo1, unintelligible. A34, unintelligible. A57, unintelligible. A12, I hope this finds you release. Momentary sound of a large explosion, followed by log cutting out. A29, he just blew himself up? Geo1, that doesn't matter, they're coming closer, we have to get out weapons free. A57, yes sir. Wow, okay. Static for 37 seconds. Unknown. In prehistory, the essence of life waited in the darkness. Its children turned against it. Now all will be returned to the essence. Addendum. Past this point, no further portions of the log can be salvaged. A29, A57, and GO1 escaped from the hospital. Sterilization protocol was enacted minutes later, as it appeared several of the infected hosts were attempting to escape from the structure. The 3 survivors of the infiltration team were placed in quarantine, and samples of 253 were obtained from them. So I had a feeling it doesn't travel through the air, but like the resultant explosion. First of all, the weapons fire, and then the resultant explosion probably caused it to travel through the air anyway. They're like fragments of the cancerous toxin or whatever. Though treatment was attempted, none of them survived past 5 days. A48 was lost in the retreat, and unfortunately his camera was unable to be salvaged. Though wireless backup protocols were in use, the distortion effect in the hospital meant a great deal of the photographic evidence collected in Incident IJ7782 is fragmentary. A48's and A34's corpses were found badly burned. Remains identifiable as A12 were not recovered. Other human remains were found, but with no recognizable trace of 253. The sterilization site has been determined to be devoid of all traces of 253, and will leave Foundation custody 6 months after the release of this incident report. End of Incident Report IJ7782. What the fuck? Incident Supplement. Okay. 254. Item number 254. Object Class Safe. Special Containment Procedures. 254 is to be kept in a standard storage locker when not in use. When in storage, it must be placed face down on the floor of the locker and secured with straps to prevent accidental activation. Use of 254 may be requested by any department head and must be approved by at least 2 level 3 personnel. 254 may not be used in a capacity that will result in 254-1's contact with SCPs posing a memetic contagion hazard. Under no circumstances is 254 to be active in a single department or area for longer than 26 days. Reuse is permitted only if the area in question has undergone a complete personnel rotation, i.e. no employees remain who have had previous contact with 254. Description: 254 is a rectangular wooden plaque, measuring 22 centimeters by 30 centimeters, and weighing approximately 1.5 kilograms. On the front of the plaque is an empty brass picture holder, as well as a printed metal plate with a black background and gold-colored letters reading Employee of the Month. Affixed to the back of the plaque is a standard hanging device. 254 was discovered in the rubble of a Texaco gas station in Blank, Kansas, on blank 1950 single blank. A Foundation agent secured 254 after discovering that it had sustained no damage in the explosion that had leveled the gas station and resulted in the death. A Foundation agent secured 254 after discovering that it sustained no damage in the explosion that had leveled the gas station and resulted in the deaths of single blank employees and double blank civilians. When 254 is hung on a wall in a work area of 4 or more people, 254-1 will appear soon afterward. 254-1 will arrive either at the end of the next designated break period or at the beginning of the following work shift. 254-1 is an incorporeal human of variable gender, age, race, name, and appearance, able to manipulate objects in the similar manner of that of a normal human of average strength and coordination. 254-1 will adopt the appearance and persona of a model employee based on an area's memetic consensus. Once 254-1's appearance has been established, an image of 254-1 that appears to be an 8x10 glossy photograph fills the empty picture holder, and it will not change until 254 is moved to a new location. Across the bottom of the photograph, in print, is the newly assumed name of 254-1. The photograph cannot be removed from the picture holder by any known means, but it can be torn or ripped. Doing so in an aggressive or purposeful manner results in a violent reaction from 254-1. See attached recording of 254A. Data expunged, the double blank, quadruple blank incident. Regardless of appearance, 254-1 maintains a cheerful demeanor at all times. 254-1 is able to carry on conversations about the weather, traffic, the previous night's TV shows, sports, and other such topics, although 254-1 will never discuss topics of which present individuals Although 254-1 will never discuss topics of which present individuals have no knowledge. Personnel assigned to work in an area where 254 is in use do not appear alarmed by 254-1's incorporeal nature or sudden appearance, stating that 254-1 works here. Due to the local personnel's reluctance to remove the plaque, or inability to remember to remove the plaque, removal is to be scheduled and performed by off-site personnel. 254-1 is capable of performing menial tasks quickly and efficiently. When given tasks that require specialized training, although 254-1 does not possess the required expertise, they will attempt them with the usual good attitude, but will perform as well as an average person could be expected to perform. S parentheses he. I just chose to say they. 254-1 will continue to perform as 254-1 will continue to perform as exemplary an employee as possible for a length of time before 254-1 will continue to perform as exemplary an employee as possible for a length of time between 28 to 46 workdays, usually ending at the conclusion of a calendar month. If 254 is placed in a workplace several days into a calendar month, 254-1 will act as an effective employee until the end of the following month. Although due to the dangers posed by shifting memetic consensus, no use of 254 longer than 26 days is permitted. After the month has passed, if 254 is not removed, 254-1 will begin to degrade in performance, beginning with an unhelpful attitude and forgetfulness. If 254 is not removed, 254-1 will become a worse and worse employee until fired. Firing can be represented by removing 254 from the wall, or by informing 254-1 of its termination. If 254-1 is fired within approximately 20 days from the start of its decline in performance, 254-1 simply leaves the area and disappears. Following cessation of employment after this point, 254-1 will actively sabotage the work area in the most destructive manner possible, posing severe hazard to any nearby personnel. And the world, people. We work with SCPs here, and if proper removal arrangements are not made with off-site security and documented with on-site security, the offending employee will find themselves jobless or worse. 05 single blank. Addendum. Following Incident 254-0210G. All tests on employing 254-1 beyond 26 days must be conducted at a separate site containing no other SCPs, no exceptions. 05 double blank, or I'm sorry, 05 single blank. Audio log 254-A13, Dr. Blank. This is Dr. Redacted. This is experiment number 13 on 254. I'm using a standard Phillips head screwdriver to attempt to remove the brass fitting from 254. There are 15 seconds of tool working sounds. It appears that these screws are affixed by means beyond the normal, perhaps glue or something else. 254-1, going by Gus, this iteration. Would you like me to get you some solvent, sir? Dr. Blank. No thanks, Gus, no need. Would you hand me that box cutter? I'll try cutting this picture out. Gus. Really? Would you want to do that? I think that plaque looks Jim Dandy where it is. Dr. Blank. Now. This isn't an insult to you, Gus. You're a great employee. This is an experiment. Gus. Okay, Doc, I trust you. There's a slight paper ripping noise. Gus. What you doing, Doc? Would you please not do that? Dr. Blank. Just a little bit for... The audio of the two cuts out, and there are 5 hard banging sounds. Presumably 254-1's slamming Dr. Blank's head against the table. Then there is a wet sound as the box cutter is data expunged. End of tape. Experiment log 254-B. Testing unextended employment of 254-1 as a janitor at Sector Double Blank. Day 26. End of standard employment period reached. 254-1's performance continues to meet high standards. Day 32. First sign of performance degradation noted. 254-1 leaves a dirty rag on Research Assistant Blank's desk. Apologetic when rag is noticed and returned. Day 34. 254-1 is mopping the floor in Sector Triple Blank when a hurrying technician trips over the bucket of cleaning solution. 254-1 recorded cursing at the technician. Day 35, end of calendar month. 254-1 described as sullen by late working researcher. Break room kitchen in Sector Triple Blank left uncleaned. Coffee spilled around Dr. Blank's garbage can. Day 36, 254-1 reprimanded by supervisor for apparent drunkenness. Note, very odd. 254-1 has never been seen to eat or drink. Day 39. 254-1 fails to return cleaning solutions to the janitorial closet. Near disaster when mentally disturbed test subject, see experiment log redacted, finds a bottle of ammonia-based cleaner in a bathroom. 254-1 reprimanded for carelessness. Fellow janitor blank blank observed in a verbal altercation with 254-1. Both parties are somewhat vague on the cause of the quarrel. Day 43. 254-1 again observed to be apparently drunk on duty. Cleaning is becoming noticeably more erratic. Day 48. Fire alarm goes off in Sector Triple Blank. False alarm. Ink markers failed to pinpoint a culprit, but 254-1 was observed near the tripped alarm a few minutes prior to the incident. Security footage unavailable due to an unidentifiable object blocking the camera's view of the hallway. Day 56. Dr. Blank upbraids 254-1 for removing perishable items from the lab refrigerator and shedding irreplaceable experiment logs. 254-1 calls Dr. Blank redacted and then threatens to redacted. Security called. What the fuck? Day 58. Kitchen knife found stabbed deeply into Dr. Blank's whiteboard. Dr. Blank's locked, secure document safe has been opened and rifled. Guard posted at the door to Dr. Blank's office. 254-1 and blank blank recorded arguing in raised voices in the staff break room. Day 59. Janitor blank blank signs into work but fails to report to supervisor. Located by accident several hours later, trapped in the cold storage rooms attached to redacted autopsy theater, suffering from severe hypothermia. Guard on duty at Dr. Blank's office incapacitated by a blow to the head. Crude human figure formed from a mop head impaled on a broken mop handle driven through Dr. Blank's desk chair. 254-1 nowhere to be found. Day 60. At Dr. Blank's request and with approval from data expunged. 254 removed from the wall. 254-1 leaves the building and vanishes. Day 61. 254-1 caught on camera in sector double... 254-1 caught on camera in sector triple blank late at night. Power failure and multiple backup system failures cause double blank containment breaches, resulting in double blank direct casualties and double blank further losses from sterilization of an outbreak of SCP triple blank. See Incident Report 254-0210G. Artifact humanoid intangible memory affecting safe sapient. I would argue that this thing is not safe. The only safety is containing it, which is putting it in a containment locker upside down. This thing, I think, will interpret everything as its own job. You make it into a janitor? I'm sorry, friend, but it's gonna start thinking it's Dr. Bright. And so you, like, I don't know, day 61 was probably like, that. We were probably pushing it. I was probably pushing it too hard. $255. Item number 255. Object class Keter. Special containment procedures. Tissue samples and specimens related to 255 are contained at Biosite 16, a purpose-built containment and research facility designed to priority beta contagious phenomenon specifications. Biosite 16 is subject to a remote location personnel rotation waiver, in addition to a standard Biosite 16 is subject to a remote location personnel rotation waiver, in addition to standard contagious phenomenon preventive quarantine periods. Biosite 16 is located in the Vaitupu Atoll of Tuvalu, on an island owned by Ragnarok Ecological Modeling Incorporated, a Foundation Front organization. Persons and animals determined to be infected with 255 are to be secured and transported to a designated temporary holding facility prior to transfer to Biosite 16. In cases where capture of an 255 carrier is exceedingly difficult or impossible, lethal force is authorized. The Office of Celestial Anomalies is to continually track the orbit of 3214 Hybris, maintain a schedule of upcoming near-Earth flybys, and alert the research director if any changes in observed orbit occur. The next scheduled flyby of 3214 Hybris is 11 November 2023, when it is predicted to pass within 950,000 kilometers of Earth. Okay, that's happening very soon. 11/11/2023. Description: 255 is an anomalous infectious phenomenon of extraterrestrial origin, manifesting in most living subjects as a neurological disorder of... Description: 255 is an anomalous infectious phenomenon of extraterrestrial origin, manifesting in most living subjects as a neurological disorder with varying symptoms. Eligible carriers of 255 have thus far been observed to be organisms possessing a cerebral cortex with approximately 4. Eligible carriers of 255 have thus far been observed to be organisms possessing a cerebral cortex with approximately greater than or equal to 5.4 billion neurons. Experimentation has determined that species capable of contracting 255 include humans, chimpanzees, African elephants, bottlenose dolphins, false killer whales, and others. In non-human carriers, 255 causes, through unknown means, degeneration of motor neurons and nerve cells. The rate of degeneration and severity of related symptoms is inversely related to the number of neurons the subject possesses in its cerebral cortex, with less neurologically developed organisms displaying the most debilitating effects. The effects of 255 on humans, however, is markedly more complex. While degradation of brain cells in the nervous system has been noted on a limited basis in humans, a range of more unusual symptoms occurs in these subjects. See 255 research log for more details. Individuals infected by 255 can be reliably diagnosed through EEG observation and confirmation of verified markers and measurements of neurological activity. See Appendix B for further documentation. There's an image? There's a comet from outer space that has like a new super virus that only affects sapient life. Or at least like its higher acting effects only work on sapient life, or like sentient life. I guess you couldn't argue. A dolphin is still just like sentient, yeah? So there's an image, signature SCP-255 EEG pattern observable 13 seconds after commencement of observation protocol. The name of the image is EEG.png. It definitely appears to be an EEG chart readout. What we see is what I want to call a frequency, but I'm not that smart with math. It's a line graph along 0.0 to 1.0. I don't know too much about brainwaves, but this is interesting. We see a peak right past 0.6. The lowest point seems to be right before 0.2, and a little bit as we approach 1.0. 0.8 is a competent competitor there as well, but certainly the highest point is like past 0.6. I don't really know how else to describe this. It's interesting though. Hotel Room 215 music really fitting too. Outbreaks of 255 coincide with close flybys. Outbreaks of 255 coincide with close flybys of 3214 Hybris, a relationship that was theorized using advanced statistical models following the second outbreak in 1965 and confirmed during the asteroid's 1987 close approach. Observations of 3214 Hybris have determined it to be approximately a 110-meter C-type asteroid with no anomalous properties observed at this time. The nature of the orbit of 3214 Hybris brings it into close approaches with Earth once every 11 years. Addendum 255-1 Research Log. The following is a listing of known 255 outbreaks and relevant data. Estimated date of outbreak, 23rd May, 1968. Locations, Sagaing, Myanmar. Number of confirmed human cases, 86. Incident rate, no answer. The first known outbreak of 255 occurred in 1968, known now to have coincided with 3214 Hybris, passing within 350,000 kilometers of Earth. All known infected individuals resided within 7 kilometers of the township of Malai. Foundation assets became aware of 255 while investigating an unknown illness affecting certain primates, including humans, in rural regions of northwestern Myanmar. The number of animals affected is unknown, but was estimated at the time to be between 1,000 to 5,000 individuals, primarily among forest-dwelling monkey species. All human instances and a representative sample of infected monkeys were brought under Foundation control, and special containment procedures enacted. In controlled laboratory conditions, animal subjects displayed advanced signs of motor neuron impairment. In controlled laboratory conditions, animal subjects displayed advanced signs of motor neuron impairment, with a 100% mortality rate over a period of 3 weeks. Human subjects displayed mild neurological impairment, comparable to that experienced after a minor stroke. Experimentation confirmed that the disorder was not contagious. All human subjects recovered within 10 days, and were released without incident after being informed that they were treated under a World Health Organization initiative. Huh, okay. Estimated date of outbreak, 19th June 1979. Locations, Acre, Brazil, Rhode Island, Indonesia, Croker Island, Australia. Number of confirmed human cases, 11. Incidence rate, no answer. A second 255 outbreak occurred in 1979 in 3 separate regions, undetected until 19 months later when a routine view of forthcoming medical literature documented several individuals complaining of a phantom limb sensation affecting the dominant hand, simulating the spastic movement and persistent ache of an extraneous 11th digit. Curious? Foundation personnel covertly interviewed subjects claiming to be affected by this phenomenon. Subsequent research determined that all individuals resided within 25 kilometers of the 11th parallel south and were experiencing an anomalous condition. Lack of person-to-person transmission capabilities were confirmed, and disinformation measures in the scientific community were carried out, achieving effective containment. The second outbreak was classified as a separate SCP designation until 1984, when research determined it to be the same phenomenon as 255. Estimated date of outbreak, 30th May 1990. Locations, Chihuahua, Mexico. Number of confirmed human cases, 121. Incidence rate, no answer. The third documented outbreak of 255 occurred in Chihuahua, Mexico in 1990. coinciding with the passage of 3214 Hybris within 550,000 kilometers of Earth. Right. The third documented outbreak of 255 occurred in Chihuahua, Mexico in 1990, coinciding with the passage of 3214 Hybris within 550,000 kilometers of Earth. Characteristic of 255, the outbreak is noted to have started in what was at the time the 11th most Characteristic of 255, the outbreak is noted to have started in what was at the time the 11th most populous city and the 11th most populous country on Earth. Beginning in this instance and continuing through subsequent outbreaks, only human subjects have been infected by 255. Affected subjects in this outbreak displayed altered circadian rhythms, sleeping for periods between 3 to 4 hours at a time, and awaking fully refreshed, conducting activities and then tiring and sleeping within an average period of 7 hours, thus operating biologically in accordance with an 11-hour day. Is this the 11-hour war? So everything boils down to like 11 numerology for this? During interactions with researchers, test subjects displayed a tendency to change subjects. During interactions with researchers, test subjects displayed a tendency to change subjects in the middle of speaking to say hello in either English, Portuguese, or Indonesian, the languages spoken by infected subjects in the second outbreak. Subjects would state hello in one of these languages regardless of any prior linguistic knowledge, and uniformly claim no recollection of doing so. Additionally, these subjects would address Foundation personnel as members of the World Health Organization without prompting. In all other manners, test subjects observed in this iteration of 255 functioned in their altered biorhythm in a normal manner, before recovering and returning to a normal non-anomalous state within 2 to 3 weeks. So maybe it's like a fucking message, just 11 is there to help us notice? Huh. Estimated date of outbreak, 11th November 2001. Locations, Quito, Ecuador. Number of confirmed human cases, 1,331. Incidence rate, 13.9%. The fourth outbreak of 255 took place in an office building in the 12 de Octubre Avenue business district of Quito, Ecuador. At the time of the outbreak, Ecuador had a population of approximately 11 million people. Additionally, the building in which the initial outbreak was localized was 11 stories high. The fourth outbreak The fourth outbreak is the first observed instance of 255 being transmitted from person to person, with an incidence rate in The fourth outbreak is the first observed instance of 255 being The fourth outbreak is the first observed instance of 255 being transmitted from person to person, with an incidence rate in laboratory conditions. The fourth outbreak is the first observed instance of 255 being transmitted from person to person, with an incidence rate in laboratory conditions of 13.9%. Infectious iterations of 255 have since been observed to be transmitted from person to person by sustained close proximity, generally within a 2-meter radius, despite the lack of observable pathogens. This change in pathogenicity, along with the higher initial number of cases, was responsible for the reclassification of 255 to Keter effective 23 December 2001. Foundation operatives seized control of the building under the established World Health Organization cover. The size of the outbreak, however, mandated heightened The size of the outbreak, however, mandated heightened secrecy protocols. Test subjects were transported. The size of the outbreak, however, mandated heightened secrecy protocols. Test subjects were transported to Biosite 16 for observation. Similar to the second outbreak, infected individuals reported experiencing a phantom limb-like sensation. However, in this event, the phenomenon was intensified greatly. Test subjects reported the sensation of 7 additional limbs, originating at seemingly random points of the body with no apparent relation to existing anatomy. While the precise nature of the additional appendages was difficult to ascertain, infected persons reported that they felt as though they had 3 joints, were approximately a meter in length, and had no structure analogous to a hand or foot at the end. These limbs were apparently not subject to the painful contractions and sensations normally associated with amputees. However, subjects uniformly reported heightened distress at the sensation of 7 additional limbs, moving independently of their control at most times. That sounds extremely unsettling. Sounds super exhausting, too. Additionally, test subjects lost conscious control of their left arms. At most times, subjects were unable to move their left arms. However, at 1100 hours local time each day, the left arms and hands of infected individuals would independently make motions analogous to what appeared to be the act of writing. When supplied with pen and paper, these individuals all wrote, in crudely formed script, the numbers 11-11-65, theorized at the time to be the date of the next outbreak, and confirmed 11 years later. All infected individuals ceased to be affected by 255 within 3 to 4 weeks. Test subjects were administered broad-spectrum amnestics and released to Ecuadorian authorities. Foundation assets within the World Health Organization disseminated disinformation related to an exotic strain of malaria and subsequent treatment efforts as part of containment efforts. Estimated date of outbreak, 11th November 2012. Locations, Brussels, Belgium. Number of confirmed human cases, 11. Incidence rate, 100%. The 5th and most recent outbreak of 255 took place in Brussels, Belgium, where 11 individuals working on the 11th floor of the NATO headquarters building all complained to medical staff of constantly hearing a set of 11 electronic tones, repeating constantly. Containment protocols were activated by Western Europe sector personnel, and all infected subjects were transported to Biosite 16. Test subjects continued to complain of hearing the repetitive set of tones. Most subjects experienced heightened stress and irritability, as well as sleep deprivation. Infected individuals were administered sedatives to ameliorate secondary 255 symptoms. Testing of this group of infected individuals revealed the incidence rate of 255 was now 100%, ensuring that any humans exposed to the subjects would contract it. 11 days after the test subjects were secured at Biosite 16, infected individuals reported a cessation of the perceived repetitive tones. One test subject immediately reported hearing an electronic voice, similar to that generated by speech simulation software, repeating the Spanish word estrella, meaning star. Once the subject reported the phenomenon to researchers, it immediately ceased, whereupon another of the original 11 test subjects reported a similar phenomenon. The original cluster of infected individuals appear to comprise a phrase in this manner, the constituent words of which were repeated in order for every new case of infection beyond this group. The phrase is transcribed below, translated from Spanish to English for this version of the document. Binary star lost, not lost. Transpose dead instruction, urgent await transmission. Holy shit. We're getting contacted from dead alien species from another world or another timeline, another dimension, another universe. And they're fucking sending us like fucking phantom limb syndrome, 7 limbs as a message. Infected every 11 years or whatever. Uh-huh? What? Huh? Upon relating to researchers this particular symptom, all test subjects ceased to display any signs of 255 infection. Subjects were amnesticized per 255 guidelines and released. Contagion extraterrestrial, Keter, mind-affecting, neurological, transmission uncontained. Unknown anomalous phenomena has contacted us from somewhere. Through fucking phantom limb programming.
Okay.
So Brody just got back from hanging out with a friend. They're sending us cease and desist. For, like, phantom limb cease and desist. Hey, I hope you had a good time hanging out with your friend. I'm hungry, I'm tired. All that running I did is finally getting to my legs. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with my legs? Now I know. There I go running again. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. Glad to hear you hang out with friends and have fun. 256, item number 256, object class Euclid. Special containment procedures. 256 is contained within a cubic chamber 3 meters, parentheses 10 feet. On a side with it 1 meter, parentheses 3 feet. Thick walls composed of a mixture of brick and rubberized layers, with 2 conductive rods sticking out 18 centimeters, parentheses 7 inches. From the walls to either side of the entrance. Entrance is restricted by a soundproof airlock. Chamber is to be constantly under surveillance by EMR device and video camera. Entry and surveillance are restricted to only authorized personnel who have undergone surgical adaptation to resist the effects of 256. To see a list of authorized personnel, see document 256B. Personnel not on this list may enter if they are security clearance level 3 or above, but must wear sound-canceling earphones. All personnel must be stripped of all electronics, ferrous metals, and conductive material. They are also required to wear a specially designed, insulated and redirected bodysuit, hazmat, parentheses hazmat elect, which must be tested before wearing, before entrance, and after exit with a significant charge. A taser is supplied and is rated high enough for testing use. The only recording allowed inside from the EMR device is done by hand. SCP standard office paper is suitable, but writing instruments must be non-conductive. Crayons are kept on hand.
I guess that works. Hey, crayons. Hey, that works.
Is there another term for crayon? Is that like Crayola, or we got like another... It's a... that like clay drawing tool. I don't know. I guess crayon, huh? Huh. That's not made out of rayon. Hell yeah, homie. Hope your legs feel better soon. They're good. I've just been standing on them a lot, and I've been putting the fan on them a lot too to help. You're insane for all that running. Well, like, I need to. Like, I fucking, like, I don't know. There's a question of, like, would you rather, like, fucking tear all your fingertips off, like, all of the nails on your fingers and chew off all the skin? Or would you, like, do something for your benefit? Like, I had to do it, but it's like, oh my fucking god. Description. Moved to Site 76 on 03/02/2007. 256 is similar to a typewriter in most respects, except that the keys are fixed in position rather than connected to levers, and instead of a roll bar and most of the machinery that should be present, 2 concave copper discs stand on either end, facing inward 38 centimeters, parentheses 15 inches, apart. While invisible to the naked eye, EM readings show that a significant electrical charge passes between the copper discs without any conductive medium. If any of the prohibited items are brought into the containment chamber, this current increases in both amplitude and voltage, eventually arcing out and striking the object in question. This is also the reason reinforced concrete was not used in the chamber's construction, as rebar seems to agitate the artifact. It is unknown where the extra energy comes from, or even the initial current, as there seems to be no power generation source within 256. If at any time this current oscillates more than the average peak of 26% on the EMR surveillance, all unauthorized personnel, regardless of clearance level, must immediately evacuate the chamber. It's oscillating to 26%, it's gonna fucking clear us! Just fucking zaps everything. Those who fail to comply are to be terminated at once, again, regardless of security clearance. For further information, see File 256B. And he ran so far away. That's a good song. He ran so far away. He ran the SCP Foundation article today. Open File 256B. Displaying authorization list. Agent 76-8947. From here on out, everything past 76 will include the hyphen silently. Agent 76-3465. From here on out, I will just include agent numbers. Agent 2456. Agent 8638. Agent 4634. Scientist 76-2464. Scientist 4363. Scientist 6521. Scientist 3253. What? That last one was Scientist 76-3215. Not 53. Classified. Base Command 0776-0103. Deceased. Access File 256B sysadmin override 4498. Implementing System Administrator override will trigger Containment Protocol 289. Security will be altered to your override and be dispatched to detain you. Termination will commence in 24 hours, unless authorized or repealed by active base command. Proceed. Yes, no. Yes. Confirm security code. sysadmin 76-4498. System override acknowledged. Base command 0776-1389 has not authorized. 24 countdown engaged. Open File 256B. Displaying authorization list. Hell yeah, that song's a fucking banger. A lot of the like 80s jams are. Agent 76-8947. Agent 3465. Agent 2456. Agent 8638. Agent 4634. Scientist 76-2464. Scientist 4363. Scientist 6521. Scientist 3215. Marianne Walters, civilian. Robert Waters. Marianne Waters, civilian. Robert Waters, civilian. James Turtle, civilian. Base Command 76-0103, deceased. Access record Marianne Waters. Marianne Waters. Vitals under file MAW_1. Suspected mother of item number 256. You have not accessed this terminal in 3 minutes. Do you require assistance? N. Acknowledge. Access record Robert Waters. Robert Waters. Vitals under fire. Vitals under file ROW_1. Suspected father of item number 256. Access record James Turtle. James Turtle. Vitals under file JAT_1. Discovered item number 256. Claims to be romantically involved with item. Activate security alarm 58B override sysadmin 76-4498. Security alarm activated. Security dispatched. Access 256C. Access denied. File rated for base command or higher. Access 256C override sysadmin 76-4498. Why is none of this music like working at all? Okay. From HR 76-5974 to Base Command 76-1389. Let me officially give you congratulations on your promotion. General Trent. It's a sad, sad thing that happened to your predecessor, but such is the way of things when working for the Foundation. Regardless, I looked into the various classified files that General Gerhardt had under lock and key with your access codes, and found out some really surprising things about 256. Is Robert Waters related to Bill Battle Pass? It just makes me think of like Bill Withers. First off, the list of authorized personnel are not surgically adapted in any way. In fact, many of them have never undergone anything more serious than the mandated physical. And civilians. I can't even begin to understand why General Gerhardt let them even know of the base. Containment agents have been dispatched to see how far their psychosis has progressed and how much they know. But from what I've found in the late General's personal files, he supposedly had them convinced this was some kind of hospital. Second, as you may have guessed from the notes on the civilians in the nightly classified paper manuscripts, the authorized personnel seemed to believe quite vehemently that 256 was once a young adult human named Elizabeth Waters, and has been somehow trapped in the artifact. Even the General was convinced, and the very fact that the base command was compromised by the item's delusions makes me worry about the entire facility. All personnel on the authorized list have been placed under covert surveillance. It is unknown how far the item's control over them goes, and I will be personally reviewing all other SCP security measures enacted on General Gerhardt's behalf. Third, there is information on the artifact that has not been made available in the report. Firstly, the variance on the EMR is remarkably similar to an oscilloscope's pickup of human voice. Apparently, when 256 starts its variance, it somehow starts producing audio with it. Second, the compromised personnel write down in the manuscripts that the delusions claim to be in pain when metal is brought near it. After an audio recorder was brought into the room, the afflicted agents noted that the delusions ceased for several days, and when they resumed, they indicated that it nearly killed the artifact. Needless to say, I cannot confirm or deny these rumors due to the security restraints on 256, but I do not place credibility in them. Simply put, General, this was a cover-up. Recommend immediate disciplinary procedures for all personnel involved. In regards to 256, I recommend research into power production. As long as the research personnel observe the listed sound blanking procedures, any possible auditory contamination can be contained. There was no listed drop in power when the little girl almost died, and more conductive material may serve to permanently suppress the risk of the artifact. However, as per your new policy with advanced timetable on the destruction of destructible SCP items, I have scheduled the item for a tentative destruction on 15th January 2008. Your vigilant officer, Edward Berstrom. You have not accessed this terminal in 3 minutes. Do you require assistance? N. Does the black moon howl? No, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Password confirmed. Date: Monday, January 14th, 2008. Query countdown. Countdown to termination for sysadmin 764498. 231626. Query location base command 761389. Override sysadmin 764498. Base command 761389 is currently in his office. Activate security alarm 136C. Override sysadmin 764498. Security alarm activated. Security dispatched. General network alert. Warning, sysadmin 764498 may be fabricating alarms to distract security. All personnel report sightings immediately. You have not accessed this terminal in 3 minutes. Do you require assistance? You have not accessed this terminal in 10 minutes. Do you require assistance? You have not accessed this terminal in 1 hour. Do you require assistance? You have not accessed this terminal in 2 hours. Do you require assistance? General network alert. Warning. Sysadmin 764498 is to be terminated on site. Sysadmin is armed and dangerous. You have not accessed this terminal in 3 hours. Do you require assistance? General network alert. Warning, Site-76 lockdown initiated. All SCP rooms sealing. General network alert. All Level 1 and 2 personnel are to proceed directly to designated containment breach defense points and arm themselves. Follow direction of Level 3 personnel. General network alert. Explosion detected in Human Resources Office. Security has been dispatched. You have not accessed this terminal in 4 hours. Do you require assistance? System override. Containment Protocol 289 has been temporarily suspended by Base Command *1-0001. You have not accessed this terminal in 5 hours. Do you require assistance? General network alert. Base Command 76-1389 has been relieved of duty by Base Command *1-0001. Access codes are now suspended. General network alert. Site-76 lockdown disengaged. Initiate reclamation and SCP update process. General network alert. Check arms back at designated containment breach defense point. Return to standard duties. General network alert. Sysadmin 764498 is no longer pending termination. You have not accessed this terminal in 6 hours. Do you require assistance? System override. Containment Protocol 289 has been rescinded. Authorization approved. You have not accessed this terminal in 7 hours. Do you require assistance? Log off. Does the Black Moon howl? Log off. Override Base Command *1-0001. Good night, Director Blank. What the fuck? This seems like we have a stupidly broken security system. And the only way to utilize it is just like this fucking awful chain of methods. Appliance, electrical, Euclid. Like, it fucking gaslights the whole facility into thinking that the sysadmin operator that's in control for the day is gaslighting everybody. Dude, he's finally done it. He's trying to kill us all. The fake hallucination of the little girl inside of like the machine that we're trying to like harvest power from. And he's gone mad. He's lost it finally. Oh my god, that one's fucking tiring. I have such a fucking bad headache. That was me earlier. I don't know why it went away. Maybe it was like dehydrated. I hope your headache goes away. Make sure to like drink water. I was told to have an Advil, but I rarely ever take them. Alright, 257. Item number 257, Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. Owing to the immobile nature of 257, Site-93 has been erected outside of 257. Access to the interior of 257 is restricted to 2 Level 2 containment and recovery personnel and above. Motion detecting video cameras have been set up throughout 257's exhibits to monitor any new biological specimens that appear. All biological specimens extracted from 257 are to be examined, logged, and removed from 257. Biological specimens are to be placed in one of Site-93's temporary holding pens for study and threat classification. If researchers identify specimens they deem worthy of further research, personnel are to fill out Form 257-12 and follow appropriate research protocols. Specimens are otherwise sent to Biosite 29 for storage and long-term Specimens are otherwise sent to Biosite 29 for storage and long-term care. Description: 257 is an abandoned zoological garden and park located in blank United Kingdom. The zoo itself, described as a collection of curiosities, is named for William Wordsworth, billed as the greatest explorer and naturalist this side of reality 12/3.14. William Wordsworth, billed. That's Bill Battle Pass. That's fucking Bill Battle Pass right there. According to promotional materials found within 257, the zoo was founded in 1899 to educate the gentlemen and ladies of England about nature and the many strange beasts encountered by explorers on their travels. No permits, building licenses, or planning permissions have been found that correspond to the location or appearance of 257. Several signs and notices indicate that the zoo has been temporarily closed for maintenance, but the dilapidated appearance of the park and outdated equipment suggests that the park has been abandoned for at least 50 years. At irregular intervals, animals will appear within the zoo's confines through an unknown manner. These animals appear in the various enclosures at random intervals. Simultaneously, a handwritten manual appears at the entrance of the zoo inside the ticket booth. These guides detail the proper care and feeding of each organism and sometimes reveal information about its origin and acquisition. This is cool. This sounds like a fucking creepypasta game. The animals vary widely in appearance, behavior, and classification. Many do not appear to be related to any terrestrial animal. There does not appear to be any schedule as to when these animals are delivered. See Acquisition Log W-257 for a complete list of animals delivered in the past double-blank years. What the fuck? Okay. That's what I'm reminded of. Security Booth? That indie game? On double blank, quadruple blank, the following typewritten note was discovered pinned to the entrance of 257 along with a guide. From the desk of Professor William Wordsworth, explorer and naturalist, to the esteemed gentlemen and zoological enthusiasts of the Special Containment Procedures Foundation. As you are no doubt aware by now, I have decided to entrust you with my zoo and my collection of rare and exotic animals while I take a leave of absence. You are straight-thinking and responsible men of science, and you will no doubt be able to look after them. After my travels through Redacted, and Redacted, I've decided to visit the 13th moon of Anoius as the next stop on my safari. Naturalists and learned men such as yourselves will no doubt enjoy studying some of the splendid and vital creatures that I've discovered here. The viewing public will appreciate the new additions to my collection. They're like nothing I've ever seen. I cannot write much longer. My indigene guides and I will be up early tomorrow to check the traps. Keep up the good work. Regards, Professor William Wordsworth. This is either like a time anomaly or this guy is just like so... See, this is what I was picturing, that it was for the Foundation. But this guy is so like well-learned that he just doesn't have time. Doesn't have any time, but he's like a fucking space explorer and he's like, here, I know scientists back on Earth will take this. Okay. SCP-257 Sample Acquisitions Log, Log 232A as of double blank 20 double blank. Okay, we get a table of just entries. Date, species, description, notes. 013-19 double blank. Elephas SP, unknown, possibly Antiquus. Description: 5 miniature elephants, approximately 3 feet high. Guide states that I encountered these splendid animals while on tour of the Mediterranean. Retained briefly by Dr. Blank for study. Genetic link ascertains a relation to the modern African elephant. Currently stored at Biosite 29. 16-19 double blank, unknown. Very large decapodal invertebrate matching no terrestrial species. Secretes debilitating neurotoxins similar to that of a poison dart frog's. Guide notes that it can detect certain chemicals in the atmosphere and interprets it, ellipses, as a territorial challenge. Highly temperamental. Currently stored at Biosite 29. So this guy, yeah, this guy's got some guile. It is capable of capturing these beasts outside of our domain, just, in outer space, and we'll bring them back. So, hey, this is interesting. It's, like, peaceful. Hey, this is interesting. It's, like, not only toxic and lethal, lethally toxic, toxically lethal, but it does other things. 0513-19 double blank. Pygocentris SP, question mark. A school of approximately 300 very small piranhas, capable of producing bioluminescence through bacterial symbiosis. Guide explains that they were procured from the Para-Amazon with with no further explanation given. Currently stored at Biosite 29. Okay. 07-20-19 double blank. Brontotherium hatcheri, an adult male brontothere. Guide notes that making eye contact with one of these beasts, spectacular as they are, is to sign your own death notice. Currently stored at Biosite 29. What's a brontothere? Brontosaurus? Yeah. The typo dinosaur. 09-15-20 double blank. Unknown. Relevant information moved to document 443 over SCP quintuple blank. See Incident Report 3-122A for further information. Reclassified as SCP quadruple blank. Following incident data expunged. Request for 257's upgrade to Keter status denied due to its immobile and containable nature and the containability of SCP quadruple blank. This must be like a typing error or something. This has got to be 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 5. So it's got to be an error. Or that is a reference to 5 numeral places SCP. Okay. 015-20 double blank. Rhinoceros sondicus. A baby female Javan rhinoceros. No anomalies detected. Currently stored at Biosite 29. Possible release to a nearby zoological facility pending. 12-20 double blank. Unknown. A large and leathery pupa. Non-invasive scanning reveals what appears to be a human-sized unknown invertebrate, possibly an insect inside. Guide states that this one will start laying eggs right after hatching. You'll have a thriving colony on your hands in no time. Euthanized and placed in formaldehyde. Currently under study by doctors blank and blank at site double blank. 4-6-20 double blank. Unknown. A heavily armored creature with a crustacean-like shell covered with bright yellow vegetation. Guide states to keep this fellow under high gravity at all times. Died on 4/23/20 double blank. Remains kept for study. 12-13-20 double blank. Kentrosaurus ethopicus. A juvenile male Kentrosaurus. Guide describes that the meat, though delicious, is far too hardy. The meat, though delicious, is far too hard to safely procure and attracts creatures best left alone. Died on 2/28/20 double blank due to disease-related complications. Remains retained for study and placed in formaldehyde. Currently available for study. 11-11-20 double blank. Dinornis SP, possibly D. robustus. Believed to be a moa egg. Guide notes that though the meat of the adults lacks flavor, the eggs, when prepared properly, provide a delicacy for young and old alike. Moa farming has already begun to rise in popularity in Scotland. I hope to establish a breeding population at St. Mary's in the near future. Currently under incubation at Biosite 29. 6/21/20 double blank. Paniscus. A troop of 12 bonobos. A guide notes that the local ape men appear to have domesticated. A troop of 12 bonobos. Guide notes that the local ape men appear to have domesticated these beasts and turned them into companions. Currently stored at Biosite 29. 9/21/20 double blank. Unknown. 2 deer-sized hexapedal vertebrates covered in Two deer-sized hexapedal vertebrates covered with chitinous armor, possessing mouth parts similar to that of an insect. Herbivorous. Guide notes that seeing a herd of these magnificent creatures traversing the floodplains of the Martian savanna rivals the greatest terrestrial migrations of the wildebeest or ceratopsid. rivals the greatest terrestrial migrations of wildebeest or ceratopsid. This just makes me think of Doctor Who, like the Doctor under a pseudonym bringing research animals to the Foundation and went to like Mars at one point when there was life there, in the future, in the past, or whatever. Guide details how to hunt and cook individuals of the species, noting that they are best served filleted and pan-fried and taste like succulent crab. Currently stored at Biosite 29, unfertilized egg sac removed from now presumed female. 32920 double blank. A group of 12, parentheses 12, of birds of unknown genus, similar to cranes with large wingspans, extremely intelligent, capable of imitating human voices and reproducing music. Described as the crown jewel of the collection. Currently stored at Biosite 29. A live animal autonomous Euclid extra-dimensional location. Yeah, it's just extraterrestrial life forms. That's really all I can see from that. 258, item number 258, object class safe. Special containment procedures. 258 is to be kept in a standard storage vault with a keycard lock, to be accessed only on approval from the supervisor of Site 15. 258 is to be stored in a 2 meter by 2 meter basin, which is to be emptied twice a week by approved D-Class personnel. All personnel interacting with 258 are to be rotated no less than twice a month. All personnel interacting with 258 are to be rotated no less than twice a month. While using 258 is not directly harmful in any way, all who have utilized it have expressed a desire to do so again, ranging from the wistful to the vehement. All personnel interacting with 258 are to be screened for underlying mental instability. After Incident 258-1, cleaning personnel are to be issued light hazmat suits when... After Incident 258-1, cleaning personnel are to be issued light hazmat suits while interacting with 258. Description: 258 was recovered from blank, Maine, after parents of local school children reported that stories of a sad, bouncy frog their children had been spreading were true. Agent F. Blank confirmed the nature of the object and Foundation personnel replaced it with a replica without incident. 258 appears to be a simple bouncing playground rider, seemingly designed to fit children of elementary school age and shaped like a stylized green frog with rotating handles on either side of its head. 258 has milky white eyes with what appear to be streams of white paint running down its face, as though it were weeping. Numerous attempts have been made to remove this substance from 258. The green paint comes off with normal paint removal techniques, but the white substance hereafter designated 258-1 cannot. It only fades with time. Observed to depend on various factors including length of time utilized and the extent of the emotional burden relieved. 258 constantly appears to weep streams of 258-1 at a constant rate of approximately 0.12 liters per hour. When a subject sits on 258, grasps its handles, and begins rocking back and forth, they report that a feeling of peace and contentment washes over them. The eyes of the object then begin leaking 258-1 at an accelerated rate, relative to the effect it has on the user's state of mind. Though this substance cannot be removed from 258 once the seat is vacated, it remains in liquid form during use and will drip from the object onto the ground. Testing of this material afterward has determined it to be a mixture of plain white paint, human tears, and the skin secretions of the American bullfrog. How 258 generates 258-1 is unknown. The direct effect of 258 only lasts for as long as the subject remains seated, though several subjects suffering symptoms of chronic depression have reported a lasting positive effect, resulting from some insight they gained while writing 258. Repeated use of 258 by a subject has shown to be mildly addictive, and Agent W blank had to be restrained and struck before regaining self-control. The results of allowing mentally unstable subjects access to 258 is unknown, pending further testing, though it is likely that any subject suffering from severe depressive symptoms would cause 258 to produce uncontrollable amounts of 258-1. Addendum 258-1. After D3354 committed suicide following repeated skin contact with 258-1, the direct effects of contact with the substance were re-examined. Continuous skin contact with the fluid appears to transfer some of the emotion suppressed during the use of the SCP, and the prior user was re-evaluated, revealing she was recovering from data expunged. Okay. Addictive, amphibian, ectoentropic, liquid, mind-affecting, safe, toy. Again, safe is arguable there. Who knows, like, what transmits there. 259, item number 259, object class Keter. Special containment procedures. A single copy of computer program capable of producing 259 is to be kept on compact disk in the high security containment vault at Site 2. A single copy of a computer program capable of producing 259 is to be kept on compact disk in the high security containment vault at Site 25. As disks containing 259 are typically destroyed during experimentation, additional copies may be made for approved experiments. Mobile Task Force Gamma 10 remains on standby to collect and neutralize any copies of 259 found outside the Foundation. Unauthorized media containing 259, or the means to produce it, are to be destroyed immediately. Description: 259 is a fractal image known as the Weissenglass spiral. A completed rendering of 259 acts as an Einstein-Rosen bridge, opening a portal to an unknown location. A completed rendering of 259 acts as an Einstein-Rosen bridge, opening a portal to an unknown location. The location's access appear to vary depending on the size and orientation of the rendered image, and have included bullet, an area filled with superheated plasma, estimated temperature 20 million Kelvin. See incident K259-1. Bullet, an area populated with venomous cockroaches, species unknown, weight approximately 2 kilograms. See incident K259-2. Bullet, deep space estimated to be redacted kilometers from a black hole. See experiment X259-2. Bullet, an area possibly corresponding to the dimension opened by SCP triple blank. See experiment X259-3. Foundation mathematicians are working on determining why the specific fractal has anomalous properties, and whether other similarly anomalous images exist. By 05 order, any image rendering related to 259 experimentation must take place at least quadruple blank meters from inhabited areas. This links to SCP-508, similarly anomalous images. Okay. After incident K259-1, 41 copies of a CD capable of generating 259 were confiscated from blank.com, and a public warning issued that the CD, labeled 100 Fun Fractals You Can Print, contains a malicious virus that will destroy the user's computer. Blank.com claimed to have obtained the disks from a reseller's bankruptcy cell, and the Foundation was unable to trace the original producer. Whether 259 was released accidentally or distributed with knowledge of its anomalous properties is under investigation. I could see how that would happen. Huge company somehow has like an anomalous fractal portal image. They go under, they can't like control it, and this person owns it and puts it in like a fractal image set. Here you go. I'm selling it on CD. Incident K-259-2 makes it clear that 259 is being used with malicious intent. The Foundation is working with global anti-terrorism forces to retrieve 259 from the organization responsible for this incident. Addendum. Incident K-259-1. A residence hall at blank university was destroyed by an explosion/fire on single blank 20 double blank. Authorities were mystified that conditions at the center of the incident resembled the detonation of a small fusion-based device. Graduate student blank blank was completely vaporized, as were double blank others, including several who left shadows imprinted on the nearest standing walls. Questioning of survivals indicated that blank had gone to his room with a CD he had recently ordered from blank.com, quote, to play with some fractals, unquote, leading to the eventual discovery of a program capable of rendering 259 for sale on the site. Incident K-259-2. Single blank, double blank, 2010 single blank. So like in the 2010s. Image of 259, approximately 10 meters by 10 meters in size. Appears on Diamond Vision screen during soccer game at blank stadium outside blank blank. Approximately 60,000 people in attendance. Survivors report a large circular anomaly appeared in front of the image, and venomous cockroaches poured out from it, attacking anyone they could reach. Approximately quintuple blank casualties. Considered a self-containing incident as the insects are unable to survive for more than 2 hours in Earth's atmosphere. The cockroaches average 2 kilograms in weight and correspond to no known terrestrial species. Several live specimens were collected by Foundation MTFs and classified as SCP quadruple blank. They are currently held at Site double blank in a 35% oxygen environment. The blank blank organization later claimed responsibility for the image. Mass application of amnestics necessary to partially suppress public knowledge of this event. Mass application of amnestics necessary to partially suppress public knowledge of this event. Experiment X-259-1. A battery-powered computer was set up in an uninhabited area of the blank desert to render an image of the Isinglass spiral, with remote cameras and sensors set up to monitor the results. Foundation personnel observed at a safe distance. Upon completion of the image, a circular area appeared in front of the computer approximately 1 meter in diameter, emitting a blinding white light, followed by a ball of superheated plasma. The plasma dissipated after expanding to an area of triple blank cubic meters. Given the interference provided by the building in Incident K-259-1, this is consistent with the damage observed. Dr. Blank considers it interesting that 259 took effect without direct human observation. Experiment X-259-2. Experiment X-259-1 recreated, except the size of the rendered fractal was doubled. Upon completion of image, a black portal approximately 3 meters in diameter appeared, and all matter within triple blank meters was pulled into it. This is consistent with an otherwise unexplained incident in blank blank, where an apartment building was described by observers as imploding and disappearing, leaving a triple blank meter hole. This is consistent with an otherwise unexplained incident in blank blank, where an apartment building was described by observers as imploding and disappearing, leaving a triple blank meters deep hole. Experiment X-259-3. Generation of an inverted version of 259. Data expunged. And area quarantined pending containment of multiple examples of SCP triple blank. Okay, this one's really fucking weird. This is like a super odd physics glitch or something, I don't know. Keter, media, portal, visual. Alright, here's the last one for the evening, 260. Item number 260, Object Class Euclid, Special Containment Procedures. 260's current location and target are to be tracked by Foundation personnel. The current target is to be relocated between blank and blank blank due to the nature of the intervening terrain whenever 260 approaches its vicinity. Description: 260 appears to be a small clastic rock whose exact composition is unknown. It possesses phenocryst-like formations that identify it as a form of igneous breccia. On one of the larger and smoother portions of the surface is inscribed the name of a human, transliterated into Cyrillic, which changes over time at well-defined intervals. 260 maintains continuous motion along a geodesic across all objects that stand between it and the individual currently named on the stone, hereafter the target. Its speed in a vacuum across a frictionless surface has been estimated at approximately 1.22 centimeters per second, but it usually moves much slower than this due to atmospheric and surface friction. An accurate estimate is impossible, as 260 is known to stick to the surface of whatever object it is currently located on, preventing its deposition in pure vacuum. 260 does not experience notable effects from erosion by the objects that it moves across. Tests have demonstrated that the stone possesses extremely high compressive and elastic strength, surpassing pressures exerted upon it by gunfire and tension presses. Due to the stone's continuous motion, serious experimentation for thermal or chemical sensitivity has not been conducted. However, it is doubtful that such experimentation would be successful, as the stone's composition suggests that it has already experienced high temperature conditions. Upon surface contact with the target, all attempts to remove or relocate either the target or the SCP become futile. 260 begins to burrow into the target's body in the direction of the chest at a speed of approximately 0.5 centimeters per second. All organs along the SCP's path are pulverized. As soon as the target's vital signs cease, the stone immediately exits the body via the shortest route, whereupon the name of a new target appears on the same space as the previous name, and recommences motion. Typically, the new target is the person closest to the stone at the time at which it exits the body, but some variations have occurred. Consult the addendum for further information. Addendum test log. The following scenarios were constructed as potential preventative measures to contain 260. Scenario 1. 260 was lured into a cubic concrete cell and locked inside. Result: upon reaching the edge of the floor and climbing halfway up the wall, 260 ceased motion. Observers described it as flickering for several seconds between its natural coloration and a photographic negative, after which it vanished. It fucking warped out of there. The current target expired shortly thereafter. An autopsy revealed the stone's presence in the target's chest, having punctured the aorta and the pulmonary artery. Several seconds after discovery, the name of Dr. Blank, who performed the autopsy, appeared on the stone, and he was immediately evacuated to a more secure location. Scenario 2. 260 was lured into a hollow, open-ended rotational cylinder mounted on a fixed stand, hereafter referred to as a gerbil wheel, with its current target placed outside the cylinder, with the aim of allowing the SCP to continue its motion while simultaneously retarding it with minimal effort. Result: after 57 hours and 22 minutes, 260 ceased motion. Events that followed matched very closely to the results of Scenario 1. An autopsy was not performed, and observation of the corpse was ordered for the following 72 hours. Complaints about the deceased ensued. 9 hours into the observation, perforations were first observed in the corpse's chest, followed by the full emergence of 260 over the following hour. After remaining still for 47 minutes, the SCP began moving towards one of the observers, who was moved to another room for continued study. Note 1. This appears to be normal behavior for the stone when it is not removed from the target following death. Note 1. This appears to be normal behavior for the stone when it is not removed from target following death. Other experiments confirm that penetration of a wood coffin and 1.8 meters, 6 foot, parentheses, of soil requires a little more than 72 hours. Note 2. Due to the failure of this method of containment, it is not recommended that 260 be utilized as a power source.
Yeah, it gets frustrated.
Scenario 3. 260 was lured into a hollow, transparent, smooth plastic sphere, hereafter hamster ball. Result. While 260 was prevented from climbing walls and deterred from teleportation, target motion allowed the SCP to negotiate around various obstacles and did not prevent it from beginning penetration once the hamster ball achieved physical contact with the target. At this point, target panicked and attempted to leave the premises and was detained and terminated by Foundation agents. 260 flickered as before, but immediately targeted Agent Blank, who had first shot the target and changed motion accordingly. Agent Blank was removed from the vicinity, and the hamster ball was destroyed by gunfire. 260 was unharmed. Note: prior to the target's termination, the hamster ball containing 260 fell over the edge of an embankment during its pursuit. Observers noted that the ball fell normally, rather than gripping the wall and maintaining its speed as 260 usually does, and retained its momentum at the bottom, causing 260 to follow the target at much higher speeds. Agent Blank has been relieved of his duties and is currently subject to transportation between sites off the coast of Asia and North America in order to keep 260 on a geodesic on the floor of the Pacific Ocean that runs through the Challenger Deep. Autonomous Euclid Hostile Inscription Teleportation. Well, that's going to do it. I hope you enjoyed some more SCP Foundation Wiki. It's been fun reading. And, yeah, that's going to do it. Peace out, homies. I'll see you in the next one. Farewell for now.